This is Goals with Soul, the podcast for visionary coaches and entrepreneurs, building your business with inspired action. In alignment with your mission and authentic message, so you can create impact for your soul clients and feel lit up every day. I'm your host, Jo Ingram, married mum of 3 daughters from London and a former ad agency director turned business coach and strategist. In Goals with Soul, we blend revenue generation with energetics, marketing strategies with pranic healing, and ambitious business goals with our soul's desires. If you're looking to build your business with less efforting and more ease, this is the podcast for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to Goals with Soul. I'm Joanna Ingram and welcome to our first amazing interview of 2023. Now we've started season 4, I have banked the most amazing interviews and they're all coming your way over the next few weeks. I'm going to be sharing experts in their fields of energetics, of business mastery. We're going to dive into some really deep topics that are going to be phenomenally helpful for all the things related to building your business. This year, let's get to that next outstanding level. And here on Goals with Soul, we're going for the goals because we want to achieve, because that lights us up, but we're going to do it with soul. We're going to do it in a way that feels good and makes us want to get out of bed in the morning, work with energizing clients, get super excited for everything that we're doing because we're blending the two. And indeed, today's great guest is absolutely perfect to talk to us about the blending of both, because today we have the most amazing Rachel Alyce. She's a spiritual author, an intuitive business strategist, as well as being an energetic coach who helps coaches, healers, as well as service-based entrepreneurs. We are going to talk about the importance of energetic mastery as a foundational business growth strategy and how she recommends you can manifest an abundant life with business energetics. Now, just before we dive in, I have something exciting to share with you because I'm starting a new case study group in March, and I'm looking for 5 established, ambitious women coaches who want to consistently sign perfect match energetic clients with their authentic brand messaging to elevate their authority and to get aligned marketing strategies in 60 to 90 days. I'm going to be personally mentoring you to get your brand messaging clarity and client attraction energetics aligned so you can stop over-efforting in your business with exhausting client over-servicing and misaligned marketing strategies. We've seen great success with clients elevating their messaging to attract their dream 6- and 7-figure clients and selling their offers at new increased prices to match their new up-leveled brand positioning. Having turned my business from exhausting to elevated by signing heck yes, energized and motivated clients using my own messaging edge method over the last 12 months, I have learned a thing or two about what works and what doesn't. And now I'm looking to help 5 more women create their life-changing authentic messaging and standout positioning so they can get results like these too. And is one of those women you? Look, if you're thinking, yeah, I would like to know more, I'm curious, or even heck yes, I'm all in, head over to Instagram, send me the word aligned, and I'll share all the details. You can find me at iamjo.ingram, or you can email me the word aligned at jo@iamjoingram.com. Now, without further pause, we're going to dive straight in to learn what Rachel has to share and talk intuition, strategy, and energetics. Let's dive in. Hello, Rachel. Thank you for joining us on Goals with Soul.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. And obviously, I love the name of this podcast. It's just the best name ever.
Thank you. And I know that you were perfectly aligned for this show because what you talk about when it comes to energetics literally speaks to my heart. And like so many who bring forth these spiritual gifts, I would love to know your backstory. If you could just give us a bit of a clue how you get to a point where you're able so confidently, so beautifully to share your light in this way.
Gosh, okay. So I'll go for the whole story actually, as quickly as I can. So back in 2020, is it 2020? Yeah. Yes, I would say 2020. I had this, I call it the inner niggle. And I'm sure all our listeners can really, who's listening to this podcast really can relate to this kind of pull to want to do, you know, this pull to do something big, to, you know, leave your 9 to 5 and start your business, right? And start helping people and start doing what you love. So I was around, I would say I was around 29 years old, and this coincided with what's called my Saturn return as well. And Saturn returns are always kind of big markers for people's lives where they kind of go, you know what? Nothing's really kind of vibing with me anymore. It's time to kind of, you know, move into what I call the adulthood phase of my life. So they usually say around 29, Saturn is the big planet of karma, the daddy planet, and it comes around, moves really slowly back to the point when you're 29 years old. And it's kind of like, excuse my language, it's kind of like, okay, let's get your shit together. What do you really want to do? What do you really want to do in life? So I had this Saturn return where I was living a very good life in the UK. I had a really great management job. I had a lovely partner and a lovely family friend dynamics. It was nice, you know, it was good. If anybody was looking on the outside, they would like, she's got it okay. And I completely went, nope, moved over to Bangkok, Thailand on my own, left my partner, left my job. And it was time to start my new life. And I was going through my spiritual awakening at this time as well. So it was all really kind of coinciding. I was tapping into my like spiritual gifts. I was becoming very intuitive. I was dreaming of like friends being pregnant, and then they'll tell me that they were pregnant. And so I was going through this huge kind of spiritual awakening, questioning everything, questioning my reality, knows in books about I wasn't really manifestation. I was really drawn to like quantum energetics. So my favorite book is E² by Pamela Groot, and that's all about 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments. I went down more the energy route than possibly the manifestation route. I kind of just knew on a really deep level, it's almost like soul level, that I've known for years and years and years, in many past lives or something, that we are really this kind of energetic being, and we're in this energetic field and everything's responding to us and reflecting back based on what we are putting out into our energetic field. So I kind of already had that instant knowledge. So anyway, I moved to Bangkok. I was still working in the field that I did, but I was really getting this hunger to start an online business. And I was really getting this hunger to build this business. And I was, you know, going through this spiritual journey, and I was like, right, I want to start a spiritual coaching business. So I started the spiritual coaching business about sometime, I'm trying to think of dates here. This might be, I'm all over the place with my dates. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I started my spiritual coaching business, and you know, the saying, I always say that whenever you start a business online, it's probably the biggest personal spiritual development journey you can ever go on.
Oh yeah.
So much trauma comes up, so much inner child, so many limiting beliefs, so many fears. We really do put ourselves out there when we kind of brave this journey, so to speak. So I started my spiritual coaching business after a little bit, some time in Thailand, after going through my spiritual awakening, after I felt like, you know, I'm ready to be a spiritual coach. And share this with other people. So I started my Instagram account. I did all the things, and I even start like, this was so naive of me, no business background, even though I was a marketeer, even though I was business degree background, all the things. I had no idea how to grow an online business online and what you do. I even started a podcast on day one of actually starting my Instagram account. And I remember when I started my Instagram account crying, because I just thought, once I'm open and public, everybody's going to follow me, because I'm starting to create, you know, fun quotes, inspirational quotes and all that sort of stuff. And I literally cried. And I started this podcast, and it was so funny because a day after the podcast, I had a woman, no profile picture or anything, reach out, and after my first ever podcast episode, she goes, that was one of the most helpful podcast episodes I've ever listened to. And it was all about my quarter life crisis, my Saturn return, and so forth. So that was like, wow, even though like I had one listener, I just need to keep going, right? Even though it's one listener, this is what it's all about. So I carried on going, carried on compounding. And I was in the coaching business. And I also decided I heard my clairaudient abilities are really developing. And that is where I could hear things said to me. And I heard, you must write a book. You need to write a book. So I went on my journey of also writing a book about this spiritual awakening I had, my Saturn return, moving to Thailand, how I ended up really connecting my intuition, my higher self, manifesting this abundant life, being able to manifest things very easily or not so easily as well, and why it isn't just a journey of like, you have to kind of go through some growth and expansion, divine timing, surrender. So I had all these lessons going on, and I was going to be sharing them in this book. So I was writing the book, that all happened. The podcast just blew up overnight. From like, I had went from 0 plays to over thousands in 1 week. My podcast was quite well known. It was well loved. So I was on this journey, and I was speaking to you prior to coming onto this as well, Joelle, saying, you know what, I would love to have been a business coach. I love business. That's my passion. I've done it for years. I've been in it for years, marketing. And I kind of felt like, okay, I'll start off with the spiritual coaching because that's what I love to, but I'll wait until I get to X, and then I will start my business coaching. And I'll teach other people what I did, and I'll teach people that I also achieved the same, and this and that. But the universe works in mysterious ways, and a lot of us think we have to wait for certain things for something to happen. And I'll give you more of these stories in a minute, as well, around this energy. And I had quite a few people just fly into my DMs all of a sudden asking for business coaching. Never put it out there. My business was doing good, but I wouldn't say, I was no like millionaire business, online business guru. And they were asking me for business coaching. And I was like, okay, this is so interesting. And I published a book by then. I was really well known in that spiritual coaching space. The podcast was well known. And I pivoted. I was like, no, this is what I love to do. So then I started business coaching, and I started to realize a lot of my intuitive gifts were very much when people were talking to me about their business, I was able to really kind of pick up on things for them. I would either receive messages clairaudiently, I would get chills when talking about strategy pieces, or I would just know things. I would just kind of see the bigger picture puzzle and what was needed for them to get to their destination of where they want. So the business coaching really started to pick up. I went from helping people launch, and as I grew, I started to work with more high level clients, those clients who are now working towards bigger goals and multiple 6 figures, etc. And so it just became this journey. And I love the strategy part, the marketing part. I geeked out about that, and then bringing in the intuition as well. It really helped me to help clients gain really great results as well, and sometimes collapse time. I had one client that came to me, and she was a play therapist originally, and she came to me, and before the call, I heard this woman's very psychic, and she should go into conscious parent coaching. So I was like, okay, I'm going to speak to this person. Had a call with her, and I goes, can I just be really, she wasn't overly, I normally get very spiritual women coming to me, and she wasn't very I could just tell she was probably a little bit more not as spiritual as what I was normally used to working with. And I goes to her, can I ask you a question? Are you really intuitive? And she said, it's so funny you should say that. I actually was working with a parent, and I saw her picture of her son with his face down in a pool, and he had experienced that. And she just said, has your son gone through this? And the woman was like, how did you know that? So I was like, okay. And then I said, right, I kind of pitched this kind of concept of becoming a conscious parent coach. And she loved it. She was a therapist. She was huge. She had very expertise. And she went for it, and she went viral on TikTok, Instagram. She's now, retired from that area of her business completely in this new life, selling out programs in just 24 hours or whatever. She's just absolutely smashing.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of magic there, and you've taken us on a whistle-stop tour through all of the magic that's happened in your business. And I know that many people listening are like, whoa, that's the sort of success that I would love to welcome into my business. But I know that it's oftentimes in the most unexpected ways that this stuff drops in, and you'd never have known that that's what it would have looked like. And I love how you lean into the energy, and that's been such a big part of how you've enabled your business to grow in the way that it has. And I know that from my own point of view, that
knowing which aspects of energy to lean into and how to interpret it is always such a challenge, because we're very energy aware. We know that energetics are really important for our business. And I'd love to know from kind of your own perspective where those energetic shifts have come for you, what you've been able to see for yourself that has made big changes.
Yeah. Okay. I love this. I've got quite a few energetic threads that I'll share about. So yeah, well, during my coaching of business, I really did love the part of business energetics along with strategy. And I really went into business energetics and just really trying to master it and be aware of it made such huge shifts in my business. One of the biggest thing that I did energetically, and this concept, I remember I was in Portugal with my friend, and I was half asleep and I heard this concept called little girl energy. And I was like, what is little girl energy? That's so interesting. And I sat with it for quite a while, and I realized, actually, I think part of my business journey, I look back at myself and I was almost like, even though I was a early 30s woman, I was operating in this way of being quite little girl in the business, because when we step into business and the business coaching, we don't know what we're doing. It's all a little bit like crazy. We don't have the you're kind of working with the, not being so experienced with working with clients or how to, all the different like aspects of your business. So when I was like, what is little girl energy? And I realized that I really kind of become this very a more powerful woman that I normally like in my day-to-day life, but actually on my business. And my business made me do lots of what I would call myself as me going back to my little girl self. So it was almost playing it safe with content, not really speaking my truth and expressing myself, people pleasing, wanting to, with clients, with my social media content. It was not setting boundaries. It was just those things that you do, asking for permission from your coach, not being self-led, all the things that you probably are in your rest of your adult life in other areas, because we can't as well. You kind of go into this little girl mode with this really different experience that your ego doesn't also understand. And I noticed when I started to step into that more why aren't I bringing the woman in that is such a woman in the rest of my life into my business? Why am I not, why am I people pleasing more than ever before? Why am I stepping on eggshells? Why am I unfiltered in my content and messaging, which is obviously the work you do, which is so powerful, right? How am I lacking boundaries? How am I, how am I kind of letting things, but how am I not almost telling clients, pulling them up on things? It was just little girl all over. It was like I was a little girl again. And when I started to clean this energy up and become more confident, more powerful, kind of set boundaries, be more purely expressed in my content, take action, not ask for permission, not wait for my coach to say yes or that, I then started to see really powerful shifts in the business.
And I like how you said clean your energy up. I just want to just go into that in a bit more detail, because there are so many different approaches to cleaning energy up. You can, for example, work with someone who goes into your Akashic records or works in your field and cleans your energy up. And both you and I know many people in that space and great results that they achieve for their clients. But there's also practitioners who help you shift your energy by virtue of the actions that you take and the way that you show up. So I'm curious kind of how you personally approach this.
So yeah, you're completely right. There's obviously powerful energy workers who can clean and do help with our energetic fields, right? And make us more expansive. But also I had the responsibility, and this is another thing about, I suppose little girl energy is blaming, victim mentality. And I had to really step into radical responsibility and go, right, I am doing these things. How do I clean them up? Okay, how can I disrupt this pattern? How can I take action today, even if it's so tiny, where I start to show and signal in my energetic field that I'm choosing something else? So it was like with the content, I noticed I was massively in the friend zone. And once I started to really say what I wanted to say online, or really create content that I really wanted to bring through without worrying about other people and how they might respond, I did that by taking action and producing content at that level. I stopped boundaries, I started to implement them. And cleaning up energy for me is that responsibility piece on my part. And as just exactly as you said, is action pieces. And everybody thinks with energetics, it has to be these huge clean up of energies, right? You have to do something completely, huge. And it can be some micro action that can have a huge shift and create huge shifts energetically.
I love this, because you were just telling me a story just now, and I'd love for you to tell it again about your flight and the energetics around that period in your life. And that wasn't so long ago, right?
So this was a few weeks ago. So as I've been working more with energetics in my business, I've become a little bit more seasoned at spotting energetic patterns, right? So I'll give you a little bit of a background. A few weeks ago, I was met with this energy of delay everywhere. I was having some delays with clients. I was having delays with my accountant. I was experiencing delays with all sorts of things, right? And I went to the airport. I was about to go on holiday, and I turned to my partner. I goes, "This flight is going to be delayed." And he was like, "What?" I was like, "I know, it's delayed. I'm in this energy of delay right now." And often the universe gives us clues. It wants us to be in alignment with what our goals. It's working overtime for us, and it's presenting us with often a lot of mirrors, reflecting energetic patterns back to us that need to be disrupted, or, as I said, taken action on. So what I found, what I was happening was, okay, I sat there, and I remember I was in the Manchester airport, the Wagamamas of Manchester airport, and I sat there in a really calm manner, because I'm aware of this now. A lot of people freak out, but I was just like, I know I can change this. I have the power to. And I asked myself, because you can't compartmentalize energy, and what I mean by that, if you are experiencing delay in your business, you're probably experiencing other areas of your life. And when I said to myself, where am I delaying myself elsewhere in life? And I remember saying to myself a few months back, my health hasn't been as optimized as what I want it to be. And I said to myself, especially my gut health, and I said to myself, I'll get all the specialists. Once I've hit a certain milestone in the business, I'll hire the specialists, I'll sort the gut out, I'll sort hormones out, I'll do all the things. And I clairaudently, I heard the word health. And then obviously I had a lovely intuitive coach at the time. We had the same conversation. She said, turned around to me and goes, "Where are you delaying something to do with your health?" And I was like, I had that same message too, right? I had that same message too. So I was delaying myself, and the energy of delay was being reflected back to me. And that was causing delays in other fields, which was, even though it was to do with my health, it came into the business. So I went and thought, right, I'm going to clean up the energy. And all it took was a couple of emails to start the ball rolling. And clients who were delayed were starting to move forward. They were like, "Oh, I can start now." My accountant was able to sort something out. And then it just, a lot of energy shifted. And then I went on to have one of the biggest cash months ever in my business as well. It just went boom. Like, when you see the Stripe account sometimes, and you've got your graph, and it's like, whoa. And
the universe said yes to that action, right?
Yes, the universe said. And I think health, if we look at energetic mastery, health in itself, a lot of us are coaches, and our business, we can't just go off for the week and leave it to the rest of our team. Sometimes you can, to do our job. Like, we are the business, we are the delivery of the business. And I think if I read so many books by, millionaires, multi-billionaire, whatever, and they all talk about health being so important. And if you look at it, it's important energetic cornerstone, because if you're not right, how can you expect your energetic field to expand? How can you expect more clients to come through if you're tired, if you're not at your optimum level of health? So it's kind of like, it was almost like I hadn't mastered one of the most kind of basic cornerstone aspects of energetic mastery. And they were kind of showing me, like, "Rachel, if you want more clients, if you want this XY business, but you're not taking care of yourself first and putting yourself first, no one energetic is going to put you first. And also, you're not going to be able to hold the space for more clients in group programs and your masterminds, etc., until you sort yourself out first. And it's true, if I was ill tomorrow, it would be a very difficult time in my business. And I realized that, and I had to think about more sustainability and so forth. But for anybody listening to this now, just anything you can do straight away is look at patterns that keep going on. Is there clients who are ghosting you? Where are you ghosting yourself in your life or whatever? Where are you, like my Peloton bike keeps staring at me and I'm ghosting that a lot at the moment, you know? And it's like, look at these patterns and think, you know, not always, and I'm going to put that there, not always will be an energetic pattern on your part. It's not, you're not always the part, you know, I tend to find some clients go, am I doing this? And it's kind of like, actually you aren't. I just think it's a one-off, or I think it's not, you know, something's, you know, there. And I do look at the grounded stuff. I do look at the strategy. You know, sometimes a lot of us can be like, oh, I had a masterclass and it didn't sell out. I wasn't detached or in the energy. And it's like, actually, no, there was probably you know, look, let's go back to this messaging was vague. Your messaging wasn't great, right? So this still, like, this is why your strategy and the energetics always need to be looked at together. You can't go completely off energetics. It's kind of like, we'll look at the strategic component of the business, look at where things are not there as well. So I just kind of want to say that as well, like, just have that groundedness and look at your strategy as well, and where that might not be working for businesses, you know. But anyway, health, so important, as physical health, joy, pleasure are all really important aspects that you need to look after yourself first before you even speak to your clients in the morning.
And I really appreciate like the steps that you've just revealed there. It's like, what patterns are happening in your life that you're not liking right now? What keeps showing up? Not just one off that has a plausible explanation, but things that almost seem ridiculous. It's like, seriously, something like this again? Like, I love the way you said, we're definitely going to be delayed on the flight, which had no relation to any of the other delays. But you were also able to label it. And I think that just takes quite a level of self-awareness. First of all, to spot the trend. But we were having a chat just before, and I was talking about some stuff going on for me, and I was just like, what's the trend? And I'm not sure what it is yet. I need to do more self-inquiry, because finding that label is going to be the key to also recognizing where else that's showing up. I made it look very easy. And another thing as well, I had a coach to also blind spot me and firm with me as well. So that's just another like label, because I've done it, you know, I've been in this part of energetics for some time. It is a little bit quicker for me to find it, but not always, right? And it's almost like, what you know, my suggestion now would be asking your guides, your higher self, to give you the clues, to give you the answers. Oh yes, good one. Well, yes, that's the way we could go. It's not just that sort of in your head inquiry, but actually allowing it to come to you about what that delay can be. And I also love what you said about remembering that energy doesn't compartmentalize, because sometimes when we recognize trends within our business that we would like to change, we're also looking for other things in our business that might be the disruptive energy that we want to transmute, when actually it could be in any part of our lives, in how we're interacting with our kids, in how we're, you know, taking care of our health or not, and all the different aspects. And I appreciate that you've pointed that out, because I think it's important that we integrate our whole selves in our business and not imagine that everything we're doing isn't right, because actually it's just part of the journey and part of the evolution.
Exactly. It's really is self first, and then the business will be a byproduct of your state, of your happiness, of your withinness. It's even like with money. One of the biggest things that I've recently done with money is feel on a deep level internally a feeling of peace. And that's probably been one of the best things I could have done for money manifestation, so to speak. A lot of us do the affirmation work, which is powerful. We do the limiting belief work. We rewire our brains for it. We obviously look at the energetic patterns. Are you hiding from money? Are you not checking your accounts and it doesn't want to come to you? What's the energetic undertone when you're buying things? That's all great, right? And it helps the money. But one of the most radical shifts that I've had with money and money coming into my life was this feeling of a lot of us, like, my business, I wanted it to bring me peace. I wanted peace in my business. I wanted freedom. But it doesn't happen where, okay, the business gives me peace first and I feel peace. I have to feel peace within me first, and then the business will then reflect that back to me. A lot of us do a lot of things where we think we want something that will feel that way until it's manifested. But no, you have to start feeling that way now before it's manifested. So I've been doing a lot of nervous system regulation work as part of my health. I've been doing all these practices, and I felt this really deep. Sometimes when we consume information and it feels like it's just in our head, and then we don't really integrate it it's almost like an integration into the body. And I was doing this work, and it really integrated deeply of this feeling of peace. And I'll stop waking up anxious. I would stop like, what's going to happen today? And I was feeling such a level of peace that I knew because I'm intuitively that now I was going to see so much things in my life being reflected back to me that was showing me that I can continue, that I was peace. Like, the business was going to give me peace, feelings of peace. My relationships were going to give me that feeling of peace because I had integrated it so deeply within the core of myself as well. So that has also been a huge energetic shift as well.
I really resonate with what you're saying there. And I like how you've picked the word peace. I think one of the parts of our industry that I've resonated with less is this hyper excitement that we're supposed to develop. It's like, find your why, make it mega exciting, and then you'll manifest it. And although obviously I get excited, what I really want from my business and in my life is a deep sense of security and peace.
Yeah.
I want to be able to breathe out. It's just everything's taken care of. And underpinning all that for me is my word of the year, trust, faith and trust, and just being able to wake up knowing that everything is happening for me, that I'm deeply supported by the universe. And although this is the less sexy cousin from that excitable, wild success of high heels and champagne bubble baths that some corners of the industry are really into, for me, just that real deep exhale is a part. And as you're speaking, even new realizations are coming to me about how to feel about my money and my business, and actually bringing more feelings of security and breathing out more often.
Yeah, breathing. Honestly, breathwork is incredible. Yeah.
I became a breathwork facilitator because it was so transformative for me. But like all typical coaches, we get opportunities to teach it and then forget to do enough of it for ourselves. So it's been a beautiful reminder to get back into a breathwork class and to do more somatic work. Yeah. And this is the beauty of these conversations, and this energy piece is it allows us to completely realign with really what matters to us and bring that energy into our lives now.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, I've done the strategy pieces, and it's so important that people build the strategy pieces and the foundations. They know how to build great content. They know how to message appropriately. They know how to, I can't think of it.
Make a lead magnet, create a funnel,
all the
strategy.
All that. I know how to do face. I know all the foundational pieces, and it was what's going to take my business to the next level was more of this energetic mastery, and those sort of pieces as well. I'm trying to think if I have any more good stories of energy, but I think that's probably the best one, is that delay story. I even had to I had to go out and email everybody about it, because I was like, this is one of the most mind-blowing experiences I've ever had. So it was very interesting.
You are such a great raconteur, Rachel. The stories that you tell and the way that you tell it is absolutely mesmerizing. I love your energy. And we always like to end each Goals with Soul episode with an invitation to some inspired action. And I would love if you are open to sharing a suggestion that anyone listening can take today and make a difference in their business.
So yeah, I think let's roll with the energetic theme. I would love for you all to sit down and look if there's any energetic patterns that are happening for you at the moment, or if you resonated with the little girl energy that I was speaking about. And I would love for you to look at, okay, where you might want to look, use the words I use, where am I doing this in the business or my life as well? And what, trust yourself. Let what comes through naturally and trust what comes through straight away. And, and also ask your higher self to support you. And if that means going for a walk, it drops in or something. And then start to make some small action steps to change or to disrupt the pattern or to clean the energy up. And that's probably what I would say is a good action point to do today.
Amazing. Thank you, Rachel. And if we'd like to know a little bit more about your business, where can we find you online?
Yes, so I'm rachellalyce.co, and I'm an intuitive business strategist. I help women to grow their business to 6 figures and beyond, and I do it with soul, legacy, sustainability as well. I love businesses that, again, deliver peace, not jarring on the nervous systems. So you can find me mainly on Instagram. Come find me there, and if you've enjoyed the episode, let me know. Slide into the DM, and I'd love to find out what was useful for you, and whether you did the energetic pattern disruptor.
And I'm going to pop the link to Rachel's Instagram in the show notes too, so you can find it there. Just say again, thank you so much for joining us today, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me.
And my thanks again to Rachel for sharing her mastery over energetics and business. Certainly entering into 2023 with this energy behind us is like this beautiful wave to carry us along and give us the motivation and sustainability in our business as we move through 2023. And as I said at the beginning, if you're curious to know more about my case study group to help you stop over-efforting and start attracting your most soul-aligned clients, please do drop into my Instagram at IamJo.Ingram and send me the word aligned and I will share all the details. And so wishing you an inspired action week. Take care. Bye now.